Welcome to the Devoted Way podcast, all about magic and miracles with me, Sora Schilling. It's time to hone in on your intuition, become artful, respectful, and nuanced with your relationship with energy, and live life based on your design. Your unique blueprint encoded with stardust from the ethereal realm and blood from those that have come before you. You know what to do and how to be, so trust in yourself. Hey everyone, welcome to the pod today. So for those of you that are watching, you would know that Sora is sans glasses today, and that might seem very exciting. I am currently working through a pair of daily lenses where one eye is nearsighted and one eye compensates for my farsightedness. And I can't tell you exactly all the different reasons as to why my optometrist is making me try this out. But what's really fascinating is witnessing my brain work. I'm so conscious around my brain, figuring out which eye to look at based on if I'm looking at something far away or something closer. And so it's just fascinating. And that in itself, I feel like is such a great spiritual consideration, right? When are we looking at something really close? When are we looking at something really far? When do we need to readjust? And can we do that with so much more awareness rather than situating ourselves in a place where we're just focused on one area or one thing that feels like it's not working, or focused on our dreams so much that it takes us out of reality? I mean, there's so much there that we could talk about. But that's actually not what our podcast is about today. So maybe we could talk about that in another time. To be honest, I would invite you all to come into Cosmically Blissful Business, where when we're gathering together, we can have these kinds of profound conversations and talk about it, build some body of work with it, have your own podcast series about it. I mean, there's so much that could happen, but I find that these kind of conversations happen in a really intimate setting. And so I would highly suggest that you enter into Cosmically Blissful Business membership for that. Anyway, so that's besides the point. I do have a question that a student had posed, and I wanted to talk about it and give you a tip that will help you create a profound experience in a group setting, whether that's your sacred circle or that is part of your group program. This is one activity that I do over and over again. And I have found that every single participant who engages in this has a heart-opening experience that they find is something that touches them and that they remember for a really, really long time. So before I go into that practice, let me set up by telling you where this came from and where this question came from. So for the past 5 days, since Thursday of last week, I held a deep intensive. And it's called Deep because it is for those that have graduated or are in the process of graduating Devoted Energy Coaching School. And so they're in the midst of energy coaching. They have all the tools. They've been practicing. They are either now opening themselves up to have enrichment coaching sessions, or half of the group have already been coaching for at least a year or two as graduates. And so Devoted Energy Coaching School, the focus is how do we do this virtually using Zoom? So you're a life coach, you're an energy healer, you're having sessions online already, and or you continue to desire to do so that you have freedom to be able to go where you want to go or have the schedule you want to have and maybe not focus on the brick and mortar piece. And so we do this by us sitting in a chair, the way that I currently am right now, chilling in my linen, clothes. I'm really kind of tired. And so I'm in my very comfortable clothes. I have yoga pants on and I'm just chilling right now, right? And so you can do it in this kind of setting with your client also seated in a chair, and it is a profound magical experience that goes beneath the surface of your mind, and you acknowledge and you allow imagination and connection and profound awakenings that happen in a very natural setting. Well, natural to us now in this day and age with something like Zoom, which was not the case when I was growing up, right? Okay, so then after that, what's next though? And what I found is that our gems, which are Devoted Energy Coaching School students, want another thing. They want another tool. Why? Because they're lifelong learners. They're loving energy coaching. They're in the mystical world. Why not? Why not gather some additional tools and experiences? And so during this 5 day, what we do is we focus on taking all the principles of what we know and now beginning to use virtual, but in a different way. So you could be seated like this, but now you're inviting your person, your client, to lay down and have a full, visceral, incredible experience in the energetic fields with them laying down and you using tools, right? Actual physical sacred tools like drums and incense and crystals and all those things. And then we move into how do you do this in person? If it was you in person on a massage with the client on a massage table or laying down, and you two are together. And so we use great tools here like stuffies, like Ocean, which I'm right now holding if you're watching the video portion. It's a stuffy that is super soft, and we use it as a portal and as a way to really connect with our client. And then we moved into 2 days of rituals and understanding the sacredness of rituals, and then moved into how do we become that ritualist as well as that ceremonialist, and how to craft your ceremonies. So that's the piece that I want you to remember in regards to this question. And so the question that was posed by my student was, as I experienced your final ceremony inside of our deep intensive, I noticed you were fully plugged into the field, intuitively guiding us without a script. Do you recommend practicing with each other or with a batch of our current clients before taking this out on the road and doing it with people we may not know? Specifically, should we practice conducting ceremonies to build confidence and skill? And I love this question. So let me share with you the actual practice so that all of you know it and you can use it. Okay. So here's what I do. At the end of a sacred experience, if you, for example, if I've done a 3-hour ceremony, or I've been on retreat for 10 days with my clients, or we have had a 7-day training in person, or we've had a 3-month group program experience inside of our container virtually on Zoom. There's something that has happened. This will usually not be an hour-long circle. This is something where we've been together for a little bit longer. We are invested with one another. We have been on this journey together, and there has been this moment of deep connection that you have made, and you'd like to finalize that. You'd like to have basically a graduation, a place of celebration, a place of bestowing love, and knowing that your person is departing and exiting and entering the world. And this is a gift that you are providing them, right? And so that ending before you close can be incredibly impactful. So what I do is I go one by one to a person, whether that's virtually or in person, and I gift them a blessing. Now, in the midst of doing that blessing, there's a ceremonial component. So just a blessing is incredible, right? Honoring you as a person. Here is my blessing. This is what I see about you. These are your gifts. May you feel this. May the great universe and great mother bestow you the blessing of this. I see you already as a powerful X, Y, and Z, and you're giving them this incredible reflection back around who they are, their medicine, how profound they are, that they're deeply loved, that you see them, that you've been tracking them and their journey this entire time. And you are so grateful around being able to be in space with them. So that's what that blessing is. That in itself, if you can imagine it, is so, so awe-inspiring and creates a sense of gratitude, right, in your clients. Now, if you add a ceremonial component, there's another layer to it. And so in that layer, you're using your sensory experience to help elevate this, to make it feel even that much more ritualistic. And so before a blessing, here is what we did during this training, and it could change, but I'm giving you simply an example to help you activate your creative spirit. So at the end, we had this entire ceremony, and at the end is where I would use my intuitive skills here. And so we used an anointing oil. It was focused on a Mary Magdalene anointing oil. And I placed it on my fingertip. And I said, I'm placing this oil on your forehead, in the middle of your forehead, as we activate that center, in the center of your forehead. As we do so, go ahead and inhale the feeling of that energy of that oil. Exhale, allow it to deepen into you as that oil is being anointed. And then I shared my blessing. And so it was just a simple addition, right? You can do something else. For example, you can take a rose and gift a rose to each person. And you say, as I hand this rose to you, may the beauty of this rose help you to remember that you are incredibly potent and you are divine, and you continue on with your blessing, right? And whatever that is. Now, please go ahead and take that rose, place it in your heart. Imagine that all of that blessing and that deep knowing of you and your medicine gets absorbed into your heart from that rose. And go ahead and have a seat as we honor each and every other person as we go in the circle, right? So you can do that with a rose, or you can do that with a piece of jewelry or a piece of string, or a gift. I come before you, gifting you with this bracelet or this string. And as I tie this around your wrist, may you feel my love for you. I share that, and then you share the blessing. You then tie it. You might even lift their hand and blow your energy into the string. You might move them forward and give them a kiss on the cheek and then a hug. And you say, so it is, and then move on to the next person. So one profound activity is a blessing for each individual person. Secondly, adding on a ceremonial component that helps emphasize the words and allow the words to be remembered and stored by either a piece of something, right? Like a tangible thing, like a flower or a string or a piece of jewelry or something else, a box, an oil that you've created, a mist that you've created, something, or a stone, a rock, anything really, right? That they can then keep. Or it's something that they feel or see or smell or taste. So that could be the anointing oil. That could be you using incense and you light it so they smell it as you bestow the blessing. It could be them eating a piece of chocolate, so they're tasting it, right? Or a cookie or a date or anything, and they're chewing and tasting it as they're listening, right? So there's all of these different ways. So that extra little piece creates that ceremonial process. And so these are the things that we work on deeply inside of our deep intensive. Now, the question here was, well, do we practice this? We noticed that you did this very intuitively. And you're right, this was very intuitive. But also, I have now been doing this for over 10 years. This is something that I instilled in my circle since day one. So I've been doing this for, I think 11 years, maybe close to 12 years. So I am well equipped in this process. So absolutely, I would say the following. Number one, this should feel playful. If it gets really too serious in the beginning, you get caught in your head. And then the entire reason for a blessing is not for you to feel robotic. It's not about proving that you are an incredible poet that knows how to weave words together. It is truly, the intent is to come from the heart, from a place of generosity, and to allow your clients to know that you have been actually very present with them since day one. That this was not a transaction, that this was a place of you deeply caring about every single person, that you were never checked out, and that you followed along their journey, their humanness, their fears, their dreams, their incredible medicine and gifts, and you want them to know it and feel it. And so how you practice this is the following. You absolutely, in the beginning, can craft this and write it. My only ask is that you write it from a place of your heart. So if you know that you have a group And at the end, you'd like to do this blessing ceremony. Then I would take some time. I would create a sacred space. I would have everyone's name. I would close my eyes and I would begin writing or typing. And I would notice what words come out. If you feel a little stuck, pull a card or come back to it. It should only come from a place of a well of generous love. If it comes from a place of, oh shit, I have to get this done, back away because it defeats the whole purpose of a blessing ceremony, right? So you can do it that way in preparation. You can also practice with your group every single time you meet. Meaning, in the closing, if you have, let's say, a group of 5 people, at the end of each session, you can say, okay, let me provide a blessing for each of you. Short and sweet as a way just to activate that, right? It's just like when you, let's say, first started using oracle cards and not relying solely on the book. And you might have been taking some time to try out what the message might be that is coming out from the oracle card itself. It's the same thing, except the oracle is within you, not from a card, but you are the oracle. And so you can play that by using cards. The other thing is taking a handful of friends, or inside of the deep sessions, they have all of their gems. So they're going to reach out to one another and they'll play and practice with one another and say, can we come together? Can we go through a circle? And can we practice gifting each other with a blessing? And let's do this without writing, or maybe writing a couple of notes down, but then using those words. And then let's just practice saying it out loud and seeing if we can access that vessel of channeling the blessing that desires to come through, not only from us, but from the energetic field. Okay. As you continue doing that and practicing that, it will click into place. And your way of creating a blessing, whether that is quickly right on the spot or there being a little preparation, it will happen. Now, if you are in a space where there are a lot of people, so let's say it's more than 10 people and you only have so much time left, then you can do the following. Either your blessing could be very short, which means you rely more on the ceremonial ritual piece, like the gifting of the rose or tying of the string. You rely on that piece and you share one statement or one blessing that you're sharing to every single person. Like, you are a profound ceremonialist who is now entering into your deep sessions, actively involved in your community, changing the lives of others because of the depth of your medicine. So it is. And you might say that statement to every single person, but you're saying it with meaning. You're like, this is true for you. And you can use that ceremony. You can also each go to each person and say one sentence that's different for each person. You can do it that way. Or you can go ahead and not use any words, but use the words as part of a prayer for the collective, and then go one by one and gift the rose or tie the string or anoint the person. It's all still profound. So giving you some tips around when you have those 20, 40, 50, 100 people, what else could you do in this situation? But when you're in an intimate situation and you have time with them, so if you're doing a group program and you know you're doing a closing ceremony and you've got, let's say, 90 minutes, then have at least a good chunk of that time with you gifting back with reverence a blessing. Okay. This is one of, I would say, is the most profound and can at some point feel like the most easeful way of creating a dynamic ending to an experience. In the beginning, it might not feel as easy, but at some point it will be, because you don't need much. You simply need your heart, your intuition, the incredible person in front of you, and then possibly one tool. But that is it. It is your words that will create the impact. And those words are coming from your incredible love and respect for the person that is in front of you. I hope that you have an opportunity to have a blessing, to be gifted a blessing where someone else shows you and tells you how incredible you are and the medicine you hold. And I hope that one day that could be me. whether inside of Cosmically Blissful Business, where this is something that we come together in community and we have ceremonies and we acknowledge each other's dreams and visions. And so this might be a place where you may be able to experience that, in which case, gosh, I hope so. Or in Devoted Energy Coaching School, like these fellow gems, either inside of that container or afterwards coming into those deep intensives, you will absolutely feel them. If you ever come on retreat or ever come into a live experience with me, I'll guarantee every single time, there's never a time I don't do this for my fellow participants. I'd love to know what your thoughts and feelings are around this and if you have any additional questions about it. And lastly, I wanted to share a little bit more about what's coming up next in case this feels true for you. So very soon, I will be opening up for a small group of people. I believe actually there's only going to be 3 or 4 spots remaining. So I believe it's 3 spots remaining, actually. So it's a very small additional group of people who would like to enter into Lush. Lush is a small group of people where we will be working together, and it's high touch point. I will be helping each individual with their body of work. And so together, I will be helping with creating your modality, your method. That is the foundation and the cornerstone of your wisdom. I will be deepening into your archetypes and helping you really refine your healing archetypes, create them and refine your healing archetypes. We're also going to be looking at your messaging and getting really clear and making it super easy in regards to you knowing how to get your voice out there in the world. Also, whatever project you desire to bring forth, whether that's a podcast or a retreat or a group program or a certification training, I'm going to help you with the outline, the content, how you'll market it, all of the different portions of the launch process, and then helping you with your design. So the graphics, what are your colors? How do we ensure that everything feels really cohesive? It is high touch point. And when I say that, I mean, you want to know what your graphics will look like. I create them. I create like 12 for you. And then you go forth and you begin to use them and then shift them. You want your training program? I will sit there side by side with you and outline the entire training program alongside you. And so that's why it's a very small group. And we already have 3 folks that are inside the container. There's going to be no flashy website page. There's no invitation page. There will be a Google Doc and an application. Because it's small group, I will be more intentional about the folks that will be entering in. And so if you are interested, more information will be shared very shortly. I just wanted to let you know that that's coming down the pipeline soon. Taking 3 application-based, 3 months together. I am there with you. We meet every week for co-working or meet for training. And there will be also a self-study portion of training that will be available. But imagine if at the end of those 3 months, you have your healing archetype, possibly even your quiz that becomes your lead generation funnel. You have your methodology all set up. You know your program that's going to go with it. You know exactly how you're going to share it and have your launch strategy, and you have your graphics and brandings in place. I don't know about you, but doing that with just 5 other people with 1 mentor and knowing that you're getting shit done, I would have loved to have that, which is why I offer this once a year. And so I hope that this is something that you feel called to. And if you do, go ahead and reach out and let me know. All right, blessings, and I can't wait to be with you very soon again. It is a blessing to serve you. My deepest desire is to bring nourishment to your soul, activate and enliven your inner landscape, and find inspiration through the sacred stories of others and myself so we remember we are collectively woven. If you would like to learn more about mysticism, spiritual devotion, magic and intuition, sacred leadership, business practices, and devoted energy coaching, please make sure you subscribe to Devoted Way podcast. As I continue to serve, may I humbly ask for a sacred exchange. I would be so appreciative if you would write a love note, otherwise known as a review. Share the episode with your friends and community members, and engage with me on Instagram at Devoted Way. If you have any questions you desire to be answered on Devoted Way podcast, please head over to devotedway.com and send me an email. Stay sacred and discover your path and join the Devoted Way. May magic and miracles occur in your life every day as you co-create a synchronistic new world with the Great Mother. Until next time, this is Sora Schilling.